Hey there, folks. It's me, Chris, with a Gig Man's Life. Yeah, baby. It's a Gig Man's Life indeed. And of course, on this channel, we're all about the freelance gig economy. Yes, no matter what you think, you're doing rideshare, delivery, freelancing on the internet, or you're at that corporate 40-hour work week job. Surprise, surprise. You're working for yourself, and things that can affect how you're working, how you get to work, and what you can do at your job is what we're talking about, because we're always trying to make sure that people can get that hustle on, make their money, and be happy with life. Because that's the main thing. If you're not happy about your situation, learn from the military, embrace the suck. And of course, I stumbled upon this, and this is one of my biggest suggestions. Always make sure that if you're doing the gig apps, that you're using a separate phone from your personal phone. I know it's an expense, but it's a write-off, but also it's a protection. Don't learn your telephone number for the app. Make sure it's on a separate network so that in case something happens to the phone or whatever, insurance is great to have it, another write-off, but the other side of that is how long it will take you to get your phone back and get back on there, because without a phone, you're not making money. And yes, I have had somebody try to scam me, try to take over my account. And the funniest part is that unintentionally, I blurted out my regular cell phone number that wasn't attached to my account to the person, because they wanted to try taking over my account and having me sign out and say, oh, you got $500. As I'm saying, best way, don't memorize your phone account number. It's on your bill. It makes life a lot easier. Nobody's going to be able to take over your account by trying to scam you over the phone. Uber and them are never going to call you on anything. If they're giving you bonuses, they just give it to you. There's no ifs, ands, buts about. They just pay out. So never trust any scammer trying to go and tell you something that is too good to be true. But anyways, let's get on to this, because yes, this is about people getting scammed and scamming others because they sell accounts. I can't think that Grant Warrington knows much, but of our struggles out here in the gig economy. He does have his ticket. I believe he's a realtor in Florida. If you look at his page, he talks about live like an investor. And, it is what it is. But a lot of what his report is about, how Ron DeSantis signed into law to allow self-driving cars in Florida. He talks a lot about how rideshare industry, or basically transportation industry in Florida, is very big because it is a hot spot for travel. Most of your cruise lines are out of Florida on this side of the country. Many other things, but then he goes into reports from Texas, not from Florida, because he's got a lot of issues in Florida with drivers and passengers. It is hilarious to see the video of somebody pulling out a poo-poo at a passenger who's a rapper. And, it just seemed a lot when you're talking about the fact that, they're driving Uber Black. They got a Cadillac. And you can see it in the videos. It is one of the other videos that I have. But, these are all bad marks. And what he gets into is how Texas had a series of gentlemen out there. You will see right about here. Let's get to the actual report from the news channel. Yep, here it is.
Have filed kidnapping charges against multiple Uber drivers accused of targeting passengers across the Houston area.
Investigators say the men posed as trusted rideshare drivers and then kidnapped and sexually assaulted victims.
Court documents show Barney Flores, Abdul McBaki.
Yeah. So people can get a hold of these accounts very easily. As I did explain earlier, the process of stealing an account and protecting your account by not knowing the telephone number to your account, and making sure you separate your gig life from your personal financial life is always important. But are there people who can pass these things, get onto the platform and say, you know what, I'll take $115 extra a week, and then I'll just say my identity was stolen? Can that possibly happen? Of course it can happen. Am I more believing that they're getting a hold of stolen accounts? Yeah. Or people are making synthetic identities, which is identity theft and participating. Look, if you cannot pass the background checks or get on the platform, you shouldn't be on the platform. I know it's easy money, but then again, it hurts us more. And especially with the fact that this is the other things people are going to look at. Especially they're going to start looking at getting the electronic book for everybody driving. That, you'd have to be signed into the electronic book. You only be able to drive 12 hours or be able to operate a vehicle from when you start to when you end being within that 12-hour window. So they will make it more and more that you want to go and have a self-driving car and not be concerned with having a license or things that can go and make you operate and make money. Because there's no way that, this is going to really work. But anyways, when you got people like this doing that and, people stealing identities and selling them off and then getting on to platforms. Because yes, do I believe that Cesar Martel could possibly have somebody else out there that has the same name, or he was operating under somebody else's name and stole it? We don't know. This is all that they're saying is that, this is what they did in the report. And of course, when people are stealing IDs and getting onto these platforms and working them, it becomes a problem for us. And this is what allows them to push an electronic book on top of pushing self-driving cars and replacing us drivers. And of course, nothing helps having another rideshare driver look at you because you're in the diamond lane driving the legal speed limit, and they have to pass you because they feel that you're not going fast enough for them. Where, excuse me, if you're on that platform, then you're suddenly getting a notification. And this might also be a person who conned the passenger into saying, hey, look, you know, how much are you paying for the trip? You just want to pay me, and I'll cancel out. They don't care about things when you try to steal shit. And when they are stealing customers, they're stealing from the platform, because that is theft of service. You know, people don't care. And people like this, who've gotten arrested for what is being said, you know, with the court records, it makes us all look bad, you know, and them going like this and saying, discount, you know, they're saying, oh, this is going to discount their insurance and stuff like that. Yeah. It'll go like this for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it is going to go whoop up, because there's people out there that make money if you go and work with them to find you the best insurance rates, because you should be shopping for insurance every year, because their loyalty crap, they're just going to say, oh, it went up. But we're not showing a discount for the years of loyalty to the insurance company, because that's going to always be in a figure of bullshit. So yes, that's about it with this, because I just want to go and make it clear that if you're not protecting your account, you don't do things to make sure that nobody can steal your identity, use it to get other people onto the account, or you're not paying attention to it. They might be selling IDs to people. The whole process seems a little sketchy to me, because I'm in Massachusetts, and also some of the things that Uber has been doing as of late, like I get the warnings now if I don't do the updated picture right when they request it, that they think that I'm doing synthetic identity or bullshit. And, you know, now I see why they're pushing those, and they're watching the timing and where you drive from where you post it. You know, a lot of people just don't think that, hey, wait a minute, you know, I have to be someplace safe. And a lot of times when they go and do that request, I have to drive off. And then I'm looking at it going, shit, I need to take a break. So yes, as if you watch this video from Grant Orrington about the Florida rideshare industry, having self-driving cars now starting to get into the market, this is going to be one of the things that we all have to watch out for, especially for a good chunk of the country, because it's flat. A lot of this is going to work where it's flat and temperate conditions. Still up here in the Northeast, it's going to be hard for a lot of these vehicles to still work it with snow and inclement weather conditions. So there's still going to be a need for human drivers. There's still going to be people who are not going to be favorable to having a self-driving car. You know, a lot of people will remember Kit from Knight Rider, and I'm going to be like, turbo boost. Well, that's not going to happen. You know, I always love people who think that they can get me to drive faster, and that's not going to happen. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm working on still another video. Currently, I've been having delivery on during my drives to see if I can get a delivery. So far, the last 2 days, I have not seen any offers for delivery in the Western Massachusetts area, which I work. So I hope you're all having a good day and that it is profitable for you. And thank you for watching.